Never actually told the story of how I was diagnosed with MS, so I thought I would do a video on just a quick overview of that era, and it's all written down in my book, Hope, which is covering about 10 years worth. In 2003, the year I left school, earlier in the year I'd gone on a hike in Outdoor Ed. It was a really difficult hike for anyone. We did it in 3 days, I think. And at the start of the walk, we just set out from the car and I was walking along a gravel road, and I just remember being really hot. It was a really hot day. I was just standing there and all of a sudden I collapsed, and all of a sudden I just was standing up 1 minute and everything just went and I collapsed. The teacher came over and she said, alright, we'll call that dehydration. I was one of the stragglers up the back the entire walk, and she thought she might have to walk me out of there, but we were already halfway. Thought we'd just get me through the rest of the way anyway. That was the very first symptom I had of MS, being heat intolerant. After I finished school, I started noticing a lot of other symptoms, and I remember getting my first bladder infection, which was awful. I'd never had one before, and I was at a friend's house. I was like, oh, I have to pee all the time and it really stings, and I didn't know what to do. So all I could do was just try and make it home. And I was working in a warehouse store as a forklift driver and a storeroom worker, which was a really physically demanding job. And it was really good for most of the time. Like, I'd just run up and down stairs, run to the door, run back, run busy recycling bins up to the back where they had to be emptied, and then run back. No, it was really, really fit. But at the back of my mind, I knew there was something happening, there was something wrong. And it was in summer, and I thought I was getting a migraine, which was a common occurrence. So, loss of vision, I would throw up, feel really nauseous for hours, couldn't stand the smell of any food, would often lose my water if I drank water. But I had pills to stop the onset of all that once I lost the vision. So I took one of those thinking that I had a migraine, and my vision never returned properly, so I thought maybe there was something wrong. I went to the doctor. Excuse you. As far as everything outwardly physically, like my blood pressure and everything was normal, so the doctor sent me to the optometrist, and they couldn't see anything wrong with my eyes either. I went to 2 eye specialists in Geelong. The first one, I can't remember much about that visit. It was just one of those old Victorian houses being done up into a clinic, and it was, I just remember that era being very dark and dingy. And he couldn't find anything wrong with my eyes either. So I went to an eye specialist at the hospital, and he couldn't find anything wrong with my eyes either, because there wasn't actually anything wrong with the front part of my eye. So he decided to send me to a neurologist at the hospital. This was all over about 6 months. I started with the eye specialists. The neurologist came into the picture, who sent me for an MRI. The first time I was in it, I was stuck inside watching the Olympics behind me through these huge goggly glasses with a mirror, because it was pretty boring in there. And then they take you out halfway through and they stick a needle in your arm and put you back in there. At this stage I knew nothing about what was wrong with me. I thought maybe the worst, like I might have had a tumour or something was, I knew something was wrong, I just didn't know what. I remember being in the hospital and having my face in a machine, a light machine, and I had to do all these little pattern drawings, like where's the spots you can't see in your eyes, and it's all out of order in my head. That's why I wrote it all down in a book. Fluorescein angiogram. Yeah, they injected a dye so they could take photos at the back of my eye, and it looked like I'd eaten a bunch of yellow highlighters because when I went to the toilet it all came out again. That didn't show up anything because the problem wasn't in my eyes. The first MRI showed that I had optic neuritis in one eye. I think it was the right eye first. My instructions were, so if any changes were to happen in my eyes between my next appointment with the neurologist, I had to contact them immediately. As I was waiting to see the neurologist again, what happened? Mum's telling a story. While I was waiting for the neurologist's next appointment, I started getting a lot more symptoms. I had a lot of pain behind my eye and it went into the other eye. I went into the emergency room at the hospital. After 9 months of being poked and prodded and drawing down where spots were missing in my vision, and tests, more tests, MRIs, I had another bout of optic neuritis in my other eye, and I remember getting a lot of pain in behind my eyes too when they were happening. I was getting worried and we decided to go to the emergency room as suggested by the neurologist at the hospital. It was very production line when I went in there because obviously I'm not bleeding everywhere and dying. I hoped I wasn't. When it was my turn to be seen, I went in with this woman who, she was really abrupt. I felt like a number, not a person, that's for sure. She's like, she put my head in this machine with the chin strap, put your chin here and just look straight ahead. I did that and then had to jump off it. She moved this thing forward and something hit my eyeball, and she didn't actually tell me that the thing was going to hit me in the eye. It was supposed to. So I guess that was taking photos of my eye. But the MRIs, I hadn't actually got any results back from those at this stage. So when I went to the hospital, the woman who's putting my head in this chin strap and putting things on my eyeball, she had her back turned to me and she was writing something down, and she just sort of went, "Oh, we think you've got MS." I just went, "What?" It wasn't very nice. It was like, for 9 months I had no idea what was wrong. It was the last thing on my mind. What I was, it was just speechless really. I had no idea how it got there, why I had it. And the most horrible thing is about being diagnosed like that is they can't tell you how you've got it and why you've got it because they've got no idea themselves. I'd had 3 MRIs by this stage and went back to the neurologist. He said, "You've got spots on your brain." I went, "What spots? Has someone been drawing texture on my MRIs? I mean, what's the spots?" He said, "Oh, just spots." It's like, thanks. I'm one of those people that like to know, I like to analyse things. That I thought was just rude. So apparently I've got spots on my brain and that's a diagnosis of MS. And that's pretty much how it started. And the rest of the story about all the other stuff I've been doing is all in my book. I hate talking about it. It's edited badly. There's a few errors in there. That's all very raw in there. It's very untouched. And that's the way I wanted to keep it. So my details will be at the end of the video if you're interested in having a look. And I've been doing everything I can ever since to try and get rid of it. Apart from those first couple of years at the start, when they start filling you up with medication, you don't really know what you're in for and you're just letting all the shock and everything settle in. I was 19. I only just left school and it's getting younger and younger. I'm I read a story not long ago about a 10-year-old who was diagnosed with MS, and it's just horrible. Wouldn't wish that on any kid, let alone any other adult.